I chose to base my community project around raising awareness of climate change to the people of Manchester, as well as raising money for Greenpeace's campaign Save the Arctic. As of now, glaciers reflect about 85% of sunlight, but recent climate models suggest that most of the ice will be gone by as soon as 2040, and if this happens, only 7% of sunlight will be reflected. This means that the Earth is then able to absorb more heat and the global temperature will continue to rise, with the melting of the Arctic speeding up the process by acting as a positive feedback mechanism. Once the ice is gone, the ocean is going to heat up very, very quickly. Think of a glass of water with ice in it on a hot day. We know that the water stays cold as long as the ice remains. But once the ice is melted, the water warms up very quickly. This is because the amount of energy needed to melt 1 gram of ice is 80 times larger than that needed to heat the same mass of water by 1 degree Celsius. This is known as the latent heat of fusion effect. So with no more ice to melt, the ocean is going to be heated much more quickly by much less energy. So it's very important that people take this very seriously and are aware of the implications, because they affect all of us. The melting of the Arctic will lead to extreme weather conditions, as well as the extinction of many of the animals we've grown up with and grown to love, like the polar bear. Greenpeace have a video summarising the problems associated with the melting of the ice caps, and here it is.
The North Pole is one of the last unspoilt natural areas in the world, but climate change causes the polar ice cap to melt in record time. This is a big problem because in addition to being the natural habitat of polar bears, the Arctic is also the air conditioning of our planet. The Arctic ice reflects sunlight and heat, which is otherwise absorbed by the dark seawater. Without that air conditioning, the temperature on Earth rises and heat waves, hurricanes and heavy floods become a common occurrence. The melting of the ice cap makes the Arctic accessible to oil companies who want to exploit the oil and gas reserves there, but they are not prepared for the severe weather conditions and risk an oil disaster in that unique region. Far away from civilization and in icy conditions, cleaning up an oil spill is impossible. Russia, the United States, Canada, Iceland and the Scandinavian countries are the first who want to exploit the resources under the ice. Large fleets of fishing boats increasingly venture further north, attracted by the large fish populations under the ice. An ice-free North Pole is also a shortcut for transport ships to and from the Far East. Is it still possible to stop this madness? We believe so. Millions of people have already joined our demand to make the Arctic a nature reserve, protected against any type of industrial exploitation. To defend the North Pole too, please visit savethearctic.org.
Okay. Obviously, tackling climate change is a pretty big task, so my proposal is that we raise money and donate the proceeds to Greenpeace's Save the Arctic campaign. If the Arctic is made a natural reserve, then governments will not be allowed to harvest the resources that are present in the Arctic and will hopefully focus and fund more environmentally friendly and sustainable ways of obtaining energy so that we can move towards a more renewable future. Because those fossil fuels won't last forever and harvesting them will only make the problem worse, we should be trying to put an end to it. As well as this, we'll be helping to protect the habitat of many marine animals, preventing them from harm. I think we should set up a stall outside the student union selling polar bear shaped cookies. Yay! And collecting voluntary donations for the organisation. We could develop flyers and give them out to passers-by, informing them of how important it is and encouraging them to get on board and get more interested in the planet they live on. This would be relatively inexpensive, with polar bear cookie cutters on Amazon costing as little as 99p, and cookie mix and icing also being very inexpensive. We can all find out when we have time free between lectures and stuff, because we all have very similar lecture times, and this will make it really easy to meet up and put it together, because we can do it anytime throughout the week and there's no time constraints, so we can just do it whenever any of us are free. I'm also very unafraid to wear my polar bear onesie in public, so at the very least we can all have a bit of a laugh. But yeah, I think it would be a really fun activity for us all to get involved in, and because making cookies is really fun as well. So hopefully we'll get more people interested in the environment and have a bit of a laugh while we're doing it, and it'll have been a raging success.